Hello everybody, and welcome back to All the Mods 9. In the previous episode, we launched our first spaceship and went to the moon. We explored around for a little bit and eventually made our first space station in Earth's orbit, and that is where we are currently. I only did one small thing in between episodes, and that was just to set up an oxygen loader up here on the space station. That way we don't have to go all the way back to our base on Earth to refill our suit. So what I want to do today is to continue exploring the galaxy, and specifically I want to go to, I think it's Mars next. I could be wrong. So yeah, what we're gonna need for that is a tier 2 rocket. So in order to actually make the tier 2 rocket, what we're gonna need is a ton of dash. So if you didn't gather up a ton of dash in the previous episode when you were on the moon, now would be a pretty decent time to do it because we're gonna need a ton of it. Alright, so I've gathered everything that I need to make the tier 2 rocket. Overall, really not that bad to actually craft, but it does take quite a lot of dash, so yeah, but here we go. Here is the tier 2 rocket. And I always forget that it explodes like that. That's always fun. And man, does this thing look cool. Alright, so actually what I want to do is go back to the space station, because it will make it easier to actually launch from there. So we're just here on the space station now on our little launch pad, and I'll just go ahead and place that down here. And yeah, so we go ahead and shift right click. It's pretty much the same as the tier 1 rocket. Let's make sure the airlock is closed. And we will need fuel for this. Now, I'm not sure if this one actually will require the cryo fuel or not. Let's see. It does take regular fuel. That's good to know. Here we go, all filled up. All right, and I think we're ready to launch. So I'm just gonna go ahead and press space, and it's a little bit harder to get a nice view of the rocket launch from here, but not too bad. Here we go. Nice. The Earth looks so small from up here. Alright, we should be reaching the atmosphere here pretty soon. I guess probably not the atmosphere, probably out. I'm not really sure what it's called. Alright, so on the solar system view here, you can now see that we have access to Mars. So I'm gonna go ahead and press land on Mars. Now, similar to how the launch was going with like on the moon, we needed fuel. I already talked about that, but we also needed a launch pad if you're not using waystones, which I'm just going to be using waystones because it's just a little bit easier. All right, let's see if we can get landed here pretty soon. There we go. Now we can see land. All right, coming in for a soft landing there. Nice. Awesome. Oops. Right, just gonna make sure to grab my rocket back out and break the lander. And we'll put the waystone down over here, and we will call this Mars. So Mars is pretty barren, similar to how the moon was. However, we do have a few differences. We have these sort of ice biomes with sort of the dripstone. We have a few other ones as well, but overall Mars is going to be pretty cold. And I think we should be able to find similar villagers to as we're on the moon, but I think they're going to look a little different. So I think I'm just going to explore around for a little bit and kind of see what we can find. And yeah, one thing that we're looking for on Mars is an ore called Ostrum. That's sort of the next tier up above Desh. So yeah, we definitely need to be on the lookout for that. All right, I seem to have found our first little structure here. It definitely looks very interesting. These are glowing ostrom pillars. Okay. Oh, and this actually comes with a waystone built in. Nice. All right, not much here. In fact, I will take this waystone just in case. Here we are, our first piece of ostrom ore. It should be fairly common on the sort of these surface cave systems that you can find all across Mars. So yeah, we also have these ice shards here, and I think I mentioned this in the previous episode, but the ice shards are actually made, or are used in making the cryo fuel. So definitely grab some of that, as we will probably need that in the future here pretty soon. You'll also notice that Mars does have diamonds, which is pretty nice. It's a decent way to get diamonds. Obviously, we're pretty late game right now, so finding diamonds really isn't too big of an issue for us. And I seem to have found my first local of Mars. Sort of a bug alien looking creature. Try to make first contact with it. He is not friendly, so we will be killing him. Alright, so I've explored Mars for quite a while, and I sort of looped back here to my waystone, so I think I'm ready to head back home and yeah, get this ostrum all smelted up. I did get 268, which hopefully should be enough to make our next rocket. Alright, so what I want to do next is to actually make the cryo freezer, I believe it's called. Yep, the cryo freezer. This will allow us to convert the ice shards that we find like on the moon and on Mars into cryo fuel, and that's just a way more efficient and a lot easier to obtain fuel source than converting oil into fuel. So yeah, we're gonna go with that, and it should be pretty simple to make. We are gonna need quite a few things though. I don't actually have any blue ice. I think we can find that on Mars. I'll have to silk touch it though, so I will need to grab my my spellbook from Ad Astra, because that's how I have my silk touch. So I'm gonna go to the moon really quick and find some blue ice. I see a lot of packed ice here, but I'm not actually seeing any blue ice, so it might be a little bit rarer. We can also just straight up craft it, so let's just get, I think we're gonna need 2, so 18 pieces total. There we go. Just like that, we can make some blue ice, and to make the cryo freezer, we will need plates as well, and a large gas tank. We should be using these, by the way, anyway, for our oxygen supply, so yeah, let's just make some ostrum plates. Or ostrum, I'm not really sure how to pronounce that, actually. 4, 5. How many was it? I think it was 6. We can do this with the engineer's hammer. Just like that. Right, and now let's make the cryo freezer. Just like that. Alright, so I'm just gonna go ahead and set this up right next to our old fuel refinery. Put down our flux point, and I did just steal this one from the refinery because I don't think that we're actually going to need this anymore. We do still have a ton of fuel in here though. I kind of wish that we didn't have this whole setup here, and yeah, because the cryo freezer makes way better fuel. So We can see here this is the cryo freezer interface. Let me go ahead and grab some ice shards really quick. Shard. I'm not sure how many we'll need. I'll go ahead and toss in 64. And so yeah, that'll create 25. I'm assuming it's like millibuckets at a time. Now this does work pretty slowly in comparison to the fuel refinery. However, this fuel I believe is way more efficient, and overall it is just way easier to obtain. So yeah, this should be pretty good for future travels. And in the meantime, while I'm waiting for some of the ice shards to convert into cryofuel, I'm going to go ahead and get started making our tier 3 rocket. Now the tier 3 rocket, very easy to make, similar to how the other ones are. This will allow us to go to Venus, I believe is the next one. So let's get started gathering all the components for this. The nose cone is always going to be the same, which is pretty nice. Same with the rocket fins. We will need to make an upgraded Ostrom tank, and that does require a dash tank, which requires a steel tank, etc, etc. So yeah, it is a little bit of a nested crafting recipe here, but shouldn't be too bad to make overall. Need 2 of those. Here's our Ostrom tanks. And now we just need the engine, which again is also a recipe that requires the previous edition. And there we go, everything that we needed for the engine. And I believe the only thing I have left is the rocket fins, which are extremely easy to get. So let's type in Ostrom and let's grab everything that we needed. And the nose cone. Not sure where that ended up. We'll just make another one though. All right, and that's everything that we need for the tier 3 rocket. Let's go ahead and assemble it just like this. Fins on the side, engine down below, tank on either side, and here we have it. The tier 3 rocket. The explosion gets me every time. And yeah, look at this thing, it looks so cool. I do have the other 2 on me, so we can kind of see sort of how the ship gets upgraded and gets a little bit larger every time and like a little more detailed. I really appreciate the attention to detail on that. So far we have 1 cryo fuel bucket, so I'm probably going to have to wait a little bit longer to actually get started on going to the next area. It does seem like it takes about a stack of the ice shards to actually make a bucket of the cryo fuel. So yeah, we will need quite a lot of the ice shards, but it should be more efficient. And another thing that we're gonna have to worry about before we even get to Venus is that the extreme heats on Venus are actually really hot. So what we're gonna need is the netherite spacesuit, which we should be able to craft here if we can click on the recipe. And yeah, it does require Ostrom, some large gas tanks, and a netherite chest piece. So yeah, we need to get pretty much all of these. And I just wanted to do a quick experiment here as well. I have I just wanted to do a quick experiment here. I have this Apotheosis enchanted netherite chest plate. So I'm gonna see if it actually keeps those enchantments when we actually craft the suit. Okay, it looks like we don't, so that's definitely an interesting thing to note. So if you have your own personal like upgraded netherite armor, definitely don't use it in this craft. All right, and I think that's the last piece that we needed. And now we've got the netherite spacesuit, which looks so cool. All right, so I think I'm ready now. I just went ahead and filled my suit with oxygen. I also upgraded my gas tanks to large ones, so we should be able to last longer on the surface of Venus. I have 4 cryo fuel buckets, which is way more than we're actually going to need. I believe that the cryo fuel buckets last 3 times as long as regular fuel, so we should be good on that front. So yeah, let's head to the space station, and yeah, let's head out to where we can launch. And get the rocket down. Make sure to fill it with fuel. Right there. I'm gonna fill it all the way up just in case, but I'm pretty sure that if you use cryofuel, it'll only use one of the buckets for a trip rather than 3. So I think, yeah, I think we're ready to go. So let's just go ahead and launch. It's always a little bit weird to launch from the space station. Here we go. Here we are. This rocket is so cool. All right, and here we are. You can see we do have access to Mercury and Venus now. I don't know if there's much difference between Mercury and Venus. I believe both require a netherite spacesuit. So I said we were going to Venus, so let's just go to Venus first. All right, coming in pretty hot here. Just trying to slow down a little bit, but not completely stop us. Otherwise, it takes forever to get down to the planet. Here we go. We can start to see clouds. And yeah, you can see the surface of Venus. Came in for a perfectly soft landing there. And let's grab our rocket. And you can see that it did only take 1 bucket of fuel, which is pretty nice. Let me figure out how to get the rocket out. Here we go. And just make sure to break that. And I'll place down a waystone pretty close to where we landed. This is Venus. And immediately our first resident of Venus is right here. A zombified Pygro. So yeah, I think overall Venus is pretty similar to actually the Nether. So we're gonna see some very similar mobs. And by the way, the ore that we're looking for here on Venus, as well as the other planet that we could go to, is called calorite. It's sort of a reddish looking ore, so yeah, let's just keep an eye out for that. And I think I see some right away. Yep, right there. Nice. So I'll probably just run around for a while gathering up calorite and seeing what else we can see on the planet of Venus. Like these infernal spire blocks, which are pretty cool looking actually. So I found my first structure here on Venus, and these guys are very loud and very angry at me. Alright, so I've spent a good amount of time exploring the planet here, and yeah, we have plenty of calorite, so I think I'm ready to travel back home now, if I can find the waystone. Alright, and I'm just gonna go ahead and get this calorite smelted up here in the furnace, and that should be good to go next time we need it. Alright, but there is one more tier 3 planet to explore. So let's go ahead and launch once again. I did grab another waystone. We should have enough fuel in the system. In fact, I can add one more there just in case. And yeah, I filled up my tanks once again, so we should be good to go. Alright, and here we are in the solar system view once more. We were at Venus previously, so let's go to Mercury. I think it's going to require the netherite spacesuit as well, so just be cautious of that. All right, and here we are approaching the surface of the planet, and you can tell already that it's going to be pretty hot here. I think those are all pools of lava, if I'm not mistaken. Now I don't remember. Can I change? Okay, we can kind of change where we land. Oh gosh. Uh-oh. That's unfortunate. Our ship just blew up. Oh, I think maybe I got it. Nope, that was just some cobblestone. Nice. Well, I'm glad that I brought a waystone with me. That's super unfortunate that we landed in lava though. All right, so yeah, this is Mercury, probably the hottest planet that we're going to be able to explore. And yeah, the local ore here is also calorite. So really what you should do is just go to Venus. Mercury's a little bit hot for travel. And if you land in a pool of lava, you're kind of yeah, you're kind of out of luck. So yeah, we can go ahead and explore around for a bit. There probably won't be too much here to find though. I do really like the what is this? The Mercury stone. It's a really nice color. See if we can make that into anything. Polished, okay. Yeah, it looks pretty good, so ooh, nice. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna explore around for a little bit and see what we can find, and then yeah, we'll come back. Alright, so I actually have not seen a single piece of calorite, so I'm assuming that it actually does not spawn here on Mercury. And in fact, I looked it up earlier, and apparently it doesn't, so yeah. I'm not really sure what the point in Mercury is, really. So far, maybe just a good place to get, like, blackstone and basalt, but other than that, yeah, there's not much point to being here, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm just digging straight out, and yeah, I'm going to head back home. All right, let's head home. Nice. So we have now officially explored all of the tier 2 and tier 3 planets, and we're getting a little bit of a leg spike as we load back into our world here. And I'm actually just gonna quickly check in on our quests. I haven't even looked at them at all since we've started Ad Astra. It looks like we have not done anything. We do need the compressor. So what I might do in between episodes, yeah, you can see we do have the check marks there, but we just don't have the quest leading up to it. So I'll just probably go ahead and claim these really quick. Make a compressor really quick. And there we go. Alright, apparently I had to make an engineer's hammer as well. I did already have like a couple of those, but I don't think they ever left my my refined storage system, so yeah. I'm just gonna go through, quickly claim all of these quests. Fortunately, it did actually keep the progress on these, so that's pretty nice. Claim some emeralds, XP, the fuel, and the oxygen. Then, yeah, so we started off on To the Moon, which is funny that I named the episode the exact same. That's funny. Bit of a coincidence. So yeah, we get these little globes. They're not really used for anything. They're just decorative, but yeah, they're pretty cool. I definitely want to collect them all. So that quest was for Dash, and here's the tier 2 rocket. Visiting Mars. And then, let's see here, Ostrom. I just need to go and grab some really quick. Oh, and I definitely should have read the quests before starting this this entire quest line. Apparently, you can use the space breathing enchantment in order to actually add that to your armor. So yeah, if you're playing alongside with me, if you do want to use your like vibranium armor, you can go ahead and get the space breathing enchantment. We can claim the quest for Ostrom, one for the cryo freezer. The tier 3. Oh, this is the netherite spacesuit. Here we go. Visiting Mercury. Yeah, the temperature is super high here, by the way. We have visiting Venus. And the last thing in this mod is to create the tier 4 rocket and the jet suit. And then we can visit Glacio, I think is what it's called. And now my inventory is completely full of junk, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that sorted out, and then I think I'm going to get prepared to go to the next planet. All right, I'm gonna start off by upgrading my armor, starting with the jet suit helmet. Okay, we can't do that. Usually you can look up the recipe, but sometimes if something has a durability or any sort of NBT data, it's a little bit hard to do that. So for the jet suit, we are going to need a few extra things here and there. We're going to need an etrionic capacitor. Fairly simple, actually. We will need some more steel plates for that, though. All right, and I think I have everything for this now. Should be able to use my spacesuit there. And nice, there's the chest piece. And the leggings were pretty simple. All that's left now is the boots. Shouldn't be too bad either. Just a few blocks of calorite there. And here we go. We have the full jet suit now. So the jet suit basically integrates the jetpack into the suit itself. So we can propel ourselves upwards pretty efficiently now. The only thing is, I already have creative flight, so there's not a huge need for this. It is kind of nice to be able to just send myself straight up into the air, though. But I did find something unique about this, though. If you hold down Control and forward and space, you can actually send yourself really fast forward. Almost like using a rocket with elytra. So yeah, that's pretty neat as well. Definitely really fast. All right, so next up, I'm just gonna go ahead and make the tier 4 rocket. Similar to every other rocket, we need 2 tanks, an engine, some blocks, etc., etc. It really should not be too bad, just a little bit grindy, especially with these, because you do need to upgrade them all through each of the tiers. So yeah, it does take a little while to do all of this, but shouldn't be too bad. All right, we've gathered up everything that we need for the tier 4 and final rocket. So let's go ahead, get everything inside the NASA workbench, and create our final rocket. Nice. So I had my magnet on. Awesome. Here we go. This thing is huge. And I'll go ahead and claim the rewards really quick so I don't forget. And the last thing that we need to do is visit the planet of Glacio. Glacio. Something like that. So I just went ahead and got everything prepared, refilled my spacesuit with oxygen, grabbed some extra cryo fuel, grabbed another waystone. So I think we should be ready to go to the final planet. And okay, be careful in orbit with the jet suit, by the way. It will send you flying off into orbit. So yeah, just be careful of that. So yeah, we should be ready. Let's go ahead and get the fuel inside. Does only take 1 bucket, but I'm gonna fill it up with all 3 because why not? All right, all that, I think we're ready to go to the final planet. Nice. All right, so now when you're in this view, you can notice a few differences. Now we have a few different solar systems that we can visit. The solar system is our system. That's where the overworld is, as well as like Mars and Mercury, etc. If we go to Proxima Centauri, this is where we can find the planet Glacio. So let's go ahead and head out to Glacio. I don't know how to pronounce it. Either way though, it is snowing very heavily here, so it probably doesn't look the best on YouTube, but and of course the first thing that you'll notice about a planet called Glacio is that it is completely snowy here. Hopefully we don't fall into is that okay? These are snow blocks. I was worried about the new snow blocks that were added. I don't remember the name of them. All right, cool. This time we didn't lose our rocket, which is very nice. So let's go ahead and yeah, explore around for a little while. And I already noticed some glacial rams here. Very interesting. These guys are very cute. Yeah, it's a little bit hard to see everything here. I'm a pretty huge fan of this sort of bluish purple stone that they have. So I'm definitely gonna grab a little bit of that. Deep down in the caves, by the way, you will notice that these are pretty much exactly just the sort of the deep slate caves that are in the overworld. We're gonna find a lot of the ores that we can already find in the overworld. I think it's a little more abundant though. I don't quite remember. But yeah, this is a decent place to get a ton of ore. Probably not as good as the mining dimension, but still, it's a really nice place to visit and kind of do some caving. And there's no tier progression ore on this planet, by the way, considering this is the final planet. The only thing you'll find here that's unique to Ad Astra is the ice shards for more cryofuel. So when you get to this point, you will be able to find a ton of that and travel to any planet that you really want to. The only thing is, obviously, since we're in all the mods 9, we do get access to waystones. So a little bit pointless, but it's fine. And yeah, this is definitely kind of how I mean. There's going to be a lot of these ice shards in huge clumps. So yeah, definitely be on the lookout for that. All right, so I think pretty much all that is on this planet are goats and snow. So I think I'm gonna go ahead, place down my waystone, and head back home for the final time. This planet was called Glacio, right? I think. Yeah, Glacio. All right, let's head back home, and we can go ahead and claim the final reward for Ad Astra, and we get the solar gem. Nice. And yeah, that is pretty much everything for Ad Astra. We do have this little optional quest as well that I'll probably get to eventually. But yeah, so that is Ad Astra. Pretty much the most in-depth tutorial that I could give at this current moment. But yeah, I think that I am going to end things there for today. This episode has been running on for quite a while. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to finish up Ad Astra in sort of one chunk rather than stretching it out for a few episodes. So yeah, we're going to end things there for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Peace.